Welcome back to the second part of how to achieve your goals. This week, all to do with an extremely important topic to think about when you're pushing for your goals, whatever they are. The topic today, limiting factors. I'll be explaining why it's so important for you to create a plan of attack with these at the center, presenting a process which you can apply to any of the goals that you have, and showing you how I'm utilizing this strategy myself in my quest to achieving my goals for this year and beyond. Let's begin. Limiting factors are the aspects which are holding you back from progressing. If you studied biology or chemistry at school, you'll know that these occur in nature in chemical reactions and in determining when and why populations cease to grow. Well, the same applies to fitness training. If, for example, you want to learn a single leg squat, how on earth do you start? Well, the first and most important step is to identify what is stopping you from performing the movement right now. This is your limiting factor. Is it a lack of strength? Is your flexibility not good enough? Do you topple over because your balance fails? Is it a combination of these factors? To be able to ask yourself these questions, you need an understanding of the skill itself and what it requires. And then once you answer these questions and know what aspects you're struggling with, you know where to focus your training to achieve the goal in the most efficient way. Alright, here's what I'd recommend you do when trying to tackle your goals. Step 1. Understand what's required. What are the prerequisites that you need to achieve before you can complete the full goal? Break it down, give yourself milestones to target along the way. Don't try and tackle it all in one fell swoop. That's the easiest way to get overwhelmed by it, and that's the most common reason why people give up. Step 2. Determine your limiting factors. This doesn't even have to be skill related, this can apply to anything that's getting in your way. Are you running low on motivation? Do you need inspiration? Once you know what's holding you back, you've taken a big step onto the right path to achieving your goals because you can now train to improve your limiting factor. Great, you've identified what's limiting you, now fix it. Train to improve it, train again, then train some more. Train with consistency, train with intensity, never ever give up, no matter how tedious or difficult it may seem. Know that everyone who's achieved what you're wanting to achieve has been through exactly the same, and they've taken it one small step at a time. Do the same. And finally, rinse and repeat. When you upskill in one area, your limiting factor may change to something completely different. So always keep aware of these and repeat the process whenever a different factor is holding you back. Take that process, apply it to any goal you have, and you will achieve it. And if you ever hit a dead zone where there's a seemingly endless plateau, this is exactly when you can get the most value out of this strategy. Is your technique holding you back? Think about how much time you're spending training. You're working so hard, you should be seeing results, right? Or take a step back and think, are you dedicating anywhere near that much time to researching and learning the techniques involved? When was the last time you watched a tutorial on how you should be performing that movement or training towards it? Are there any other limiting factors that are holding you back apart from strength? Is a lack of variation stopping your muscles from developing? Learn to ask the right questions, and then you can always overcome the answers. So how am I applying this practice myself? Take my front lever goal as an example, to get a 60-second advanced tuck by the end of the year. I can currently hold about 45 seconds in the easier tuck variation, which seems like I've got a good level of endurance there. So without thinking in this way, I'd instinctively start training advanced tuck, i.e. the harder variation, right now. This would be a mistake. Think about it, if I want to hold 60 seconds of a hard variation, and I move on to training that variation before I can even do 60 seconds of the easier variation, how will I ever be able to get there? Short answer is I won't, not efficiently at least, because I haven't dedicated enough time to the prerequisites. So that tells me I'm still limited by my endurance on the easier variation. Hence, you'll notice, if you're following along with my workout tracker spreadsheet in the description, that I haven't done any advanced tuck front lever training yet. I'm sticking with tuck until I get, say, 90 seconds, at which point training for a 60-second advanced tuck makes a lot more sense. Also important, getting the right form is a one-way street. If you progress from an easier variation before you perfect the form, you'll never be able to jump up to the correct form in the harder variations. You always have to go back to the easier form to build it up again. In this case, it's keeping the scapula retracted, arms straight and back flat. That's why it's so crucial that you invest the time to learn things properly. Step 1 in action, understanding what's required. Example number 2, my pulling goals, including 30 dead hang pull-ups. To get from 20 to 30 pull-ups, my thought process is as such. What is failing when I get to 20 reps and can't do any more? Is it fatigue in my lats, upper arms or forearms? Is it my grip strength? Is it my hanging recovery? But what I noticed from watching my training clips back is that every single set on my penultimate rep, my hands lose their grip and slide to a fingertip grip, after which I can only ever do one more rep. This happens time and time again, so as a result of this, I hypothesized that if I could hold onto the bar with a good grip for longer, I'd be able to do more pull-ups. Supplementary to that, another goal is 10 one-arm scapular retractions on each arm. How is it possible for me to do that if I can't even hang from the bar on one arm for that long? So my course of action? I started Ido Portal's 30-day hanging challenge, during which you hang from a bar in a combination of dead hangs and active hangs for a total of 7 minutes per day, every day for 30 days. A really solid way of improving your grip strength and hanging time. Most of the other goals were a bit more straightforward to execute this strategy for, because I'm simply not strong enough yet. But for a few lifts like squat and military press, even now in week 5 I'm limited by technique. The reason I didn't fail at strong lifts as soon as I climbed above my starting weight is because I was improving my technique every time I was training. Sure, I was getting a little stronger, but the weights in the first few weeks weren't challenging enough to drive big strength gains. Instead, I learnt to leverage the strength that I already had through better form. Step 4, rinse and repeat. I'm just going to put the screen up again to really hammer it home. I've already talked it through, so now it's up to you to go away and apply it. Think I'm taking the wrong approach? Let me know in a comment. I'm on a journey to achieving my goals just as you are to yours. This isn't gospel, this is logic, this is what makes sense to me. I really hope this helps you to achieve your goals, and if it does, leave me a comment below with your story. I'd love to read through them. And as always, if you appreciate this, just give it a like below and subscribe for future videos. That's all, guys. Peace. That you choose. Naturally, you want a number that allows you to complete exactly 9 sets with 60-second rest in between. The first time you try this, you're not going to have a clue what your training set is, so I made this formula to help you out. Just plug in the number of reps you did on your pyramid set from day 2, divide